In this chapter of movies, we're going to be looking at how to make site connections in Contribute. You make a site connection in Contribute when you provide Contribute with the necessary information to connect to and edit an existing site. Because again, in Contribute, you're most likely going to be editing existing sites that are already live on the web. Now, it is possible to work in Contribute in what's called offline mode, which lets you work on local files stored on your own computer. And you can do so by choosing Contribute, Work Offline, or if you're on Windows, File Work Offline. And you can see here that Contribute tells you that while you're working offline, you can create new pages and work on existing draft pages, but you can't browse, publish pages, or send drafts for review. Now, working offline can be a convenient way to work if you need to, say, grab some pages and store them in Contribute so you can work on them while you're on a flight or in a hotel with no internet connection. But for the most part, if you have an internet connection, you'll want to work with Contribute in online mode. So I can go back to online mode by clicking the Work Online button up here. So now Contribute is ready to connect to the internet when I need it to. But again, before I can work on a website, I need to make a site connection. And unless you're the administrator of the site, you're going to make your site connections using a site connection key, which is a file containing all the necessary information you and Contribute need to connect to your site. This file contains the site's address, your username and password, and your permissions. Most commonly, the site connection key is generated by the site administrator and then emailed to you. So let's take a look at how we use a connection key once we receive it. Let's assume that it's my job to update the site for tcloud.com. Again, this is a fictitious tea company that I've set up a website for. My site administrator has sent me a connection key via email, and I've dragged that connection key here to my desktop. So you can see what the connection key icon looks like, and you can see this one is labeled tcloud Publisher. Publisher is one of the standard user roles you can assign to contributors. The Publisher role allows the contributor to make changes to the site as well as publish the changes to the live site. To add this connection key to my copy of Contribute, I just double-click it. And that opens up the Import Connection Key tcloud dialog box. So connection keys are not assigned to any particular person by name. So anybody with a connection key can use it, but you still need to provide your name and your email address so that other Contribute users who are working on the same site can contact you if they need to, say, look at your draft or send a draft to you. So I'll type in my name, email address. Now it's asking me what is the connection key password. This is a safety precaution so that someone can't just come along and copy the connection key file to their own computers and gain access to my website. Remember, the connection key contains all the necessary information to access the files on your website, which is why the key is password protected. When the site administrator generated the connection key, he also had to come up with a password for that key. And it's best to relay that key to each contributor verbally, in person, or over the phone, especially not in the same email containing the actual connection key. That would just be a bad security idea. So I'm going to type in the connection key that was told to me by the site administrator. Click on OK. And Contribute is going to take a moment to validate the info that I entered, and if everything checks out, I'll have a site connection to the tcloud website, which you can see I now do. And I know I have a connection here because it now says Edit Page up here, meaning I can actually come in here and start editing this page or any other page within the tcloud site. Notice that if I go back to the Contribute Start page, I now see the tcloud site listed as one of my websites, and I can click it here to start editing again. But we're not going to get into editing pages yet. The point of this movie was to show you how connection keys work. In the next several movies, we're going to take a look at what you need to know to create your own site connections if your site administrator hasn't done it for you, or if you actually are the site administrator.